Email is integrated into our lives, and it can get confusing and even overwhelming at times. But email is email, right? Well, not exactly. Actually, email comes in several forms and may be accessed in different ways, and that's where it can seem a little complicated. But let's see if we can uncomplicate it a bit for you. Knowledge is power, and we need to have power over our email. Email is email, right? Well, not exactly. Actually, email comes in several forms and may be accessed in different ways. Email can be accessed online or by using an installed application or program. What do we mean by that? And what's the difference? Online email access might include Gmail, Yahoo, or even AOL. For these, email is accessed by going to a website or a specific application. These are described as cloud-based email functions. Another term might be webmail because the email is accessed on the web. Webmail providers might include a domain registry like Enum or your web hosting service, for example. So it's free, there's nothing to install, and it's unlimited. So why would you need anything else? The good thing about online email is that it can hold thousands of messages, and the bad thing about online email is that it can hold thousands of messages. And also, always keep in mind that when something is free, it really means that you are the product. Servers are not free, which means that free services usually survive on advertising, either on-screen ads or by tracking and selling personal information to advertisers. And we realize that unlimited anything is never really unlimited. For example, Gmail shuts off at 12 gigabytes of storage, which is probably more email messages than anybody wants to deal with anyway. Which may be why your friend keeps switching to a new AOL or Gmail address because they get overwhelmed by thousands of emails. And no, spam filters can only do so much. The other option for accessing your email is an online installed application on a phone, tablet, or computer. These might include Microsoft Mail, which comes installed on PCs, or Mac Mail for Mac. Windows Mail is the default app that comes pre-installed on Windows 10, and it's as simple as it gets. Not a lot of features, but that can be a good thing. Outlook is part of the Office suite of programs. In the mobile world, phones have their own email applications pre-installed, but you can also install Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, or Outlook Mail, along with others like MyMail, Edison Mail, Spark, Blue Mail, Proton Encrypted Email, Mailmaster, Canary Mail, Newton, Zoho, and the list goes on, each with its own special features and functions. If we do a little digging, we can find many more email programs that can be installed on a computer. There are programs for Windows, Mac, Chromebook, or Linux. The technical term for an email program that you install on a device is called an email client. A few examples of email clients include Thunderbird from Mozilla, the same people who make the Firefox browser. And like the Firefox browser, it's free to download and install, as is Inky. EM Client, Mailbird, and TouchMail are email programs that you buy and install. The benefit of any software that you pay for is that support is usually better. There are different email access methods depending on what we need to do. We identify those access or transmission functions as IMAP, POP3, and SMTP. We don't really need to know the meanings of those terms, but in case you're curious, IMAP is Internet Message Access Protocol. POP3 is Post Office Protocol, version 3. SMTP is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. The word protocol simply means a set of rules or procedures for transmitting data between electronic devices, kind of like specifications. But just remember there are different types of email transmission. IMAP might be compared to going to a post office box, and the post office box is the email server. You can go to the post office where the email comes in, and you can check what's there. If you leave it there, it's still at the post office. If you take the email out of the box, you can take it with you and throw the junk mail in the trash. In the same way, if you delete an email message retrieved with IMAP, it also deletes the message on the server. If you delete spam access through IMAP, it is removed from the server as well. However, if you accidentally delete a message that you really wanted to keep, sorry, it's gone. If you leave the email in the mailbox, it will remain there when you access your email account from another device. However, if you leave too much mail in the box, it might fill up and be stuffed, and it could even stop accepting new messages. You might be comforted, though, to know that if an email message can't be delivered right away, the Internet will keep trying to deliver it for up to 4 days. For example, if your email server goes down for a day or so, all of your missed email messages will eventually be delivered. POP3 email protocol is like having your email delivered to your home or office. To carry our post office illustration further, the mail carrier is your email program. When the mail is delivered to your house, it's no longer at the post office, and the post office box won't fill up unless you check that little box that says Leave Mail on Server. SMTP is how email is sent, whether it's a new message or a reply. You might think of SMTP as sending mail to places. Which of these options you use, IMAP or POP3, depends on how you want to manage your email messages for each device. And you do want to manage your email because it can become overwhelming. You can be inundated by thousands of spams. Your hosted email may stop because there's too much being stored on the server. Or you simply can't find a message that you need in a giant pile of emails. Things can get a bit confusing when you need to access your messages from different platforms, your computer or computers, from a phone or several phones, or a tablet. Different access requires different strategies. You don't want to read an email on your phone, but then you can't download it on your computer. Or what if you have a main computer and a laptop that you take with you on the road? Then what if you want to check your messages on your phone in between? That's when we need to use the right tools for each situation. Let's say you leave from home and you receive an email on your phone that you need to act on. You break out your computer at the coffee shop and access the message, and you respond. When you get to your office, you want to be able to store both the incoming message and your response, so you have a record of the conversation. You also don't want to have messages piling up on the server. You'll need to set up each of the devices according to how you need to manage your message traffic. The phone and laptop will be set up like visiting the post office. That means IMAP to read the messages. IMAP will leave the messages on the server for a later download, unless you delete them. Sending will use the normal SMTP. Your phone and laptop will be set up to send a copy of your reply to the email server where it can be downloaded and stored on the office computer later. The office computer will be where all your messages are stored. That means that it'll be set up so that messages that are retrieved are removed from the mail server after they're downloaded. That means selecting POP3 to receive and SMTP for sending. Just be careful not to mark Leave Messages on Server unless you mean to do that. So what can we do to stop all the spam? First, we need to know where spam actually comes from. This old pogo cartoon is ancient, but it reveals the truth. In fact, the source of all spam is us. When we sign up for something that is free, when we post our contact email on a website, when we post our email address on social media, when we even sign up for social media, what do you really think Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube do with your email address? So we are our own worst enemy. So what's the answer? How can we shield ourselves from spam? There are several ways to dodge the spam bullet. One is to not hand over our email address to spammers. On a website, use a form instead of an email link, and be sure to protect that form with CAPTCHA blocking. CAPTCHA blocking is free, and the version you want is version 3. Second, use email aliases. You know what an alias is. It's like a pen name or nickname. It's you, but it's not really you. It's a kind of false identity, except in this case, it's totally legal. You may not know that you can set up an alias email for almost any email account. For example, in Gmail, it's actually called nicknames. For hosted email, it's just called alias email addresses. You can even send as an alias or nickname and hide your real or login email address. The person receiving your email can reply to that fake email address, and it'll come right into your normal inbox. However, you have a lot more flexibility for aliases at your own domain name through your domain registrar or website host. Nicknames and aliases are free. They're not duplicate email accounts, they're just a different way to send messages to your same inbox. They look like regular email, but they're not. For one, there is no login for an alias email address, which is the ultimate security from email hackers. It's like a ghost email. What are alias or nickname email addresses good for? If you start getting a lot of spam to a particular alias address, simply delete that alias, and the spam messages have no way to reach you. They have no place to go. Sign up for a free offer? Create a new alias for free stuff at myemail.com. Too much free stuff? Delete that alias and it all goes away. By the way, never unsubscribe to anything you didn't really subscribe to. That's just telling a spammer that they've hit a live email account. It's a little like dodgeball. You become a moving target for spam. They can't hit you if they can't find you. Alias or nickname email addresses don't cost anything. They just take a little effort to create. I hope this has helped you gain a better understanding of how email works so that you can make it a tool instead of a burden. Please consider Cybershoot Hosting, since 1994, large enough to serve, small enough to care. If you like learning new things, please subscribe to this channel and remember to click the bell so that you'll know when we make another informational video.